Hey guys, Jeff here. Today I have a great video. I have a Droid 2, as if you probably already know because you've been following my website, I would assume, besttechie.net. You can check it out. I already have the text written review up, but I want to do the video review of the Droid 2. This is Motorola's latest release of their latest Android phone. It runs a 1 GHz processor. It has a 512 megapixel camera, which doesn't shoot HD video, unfortunately. It only shoots in 480p, so there's no HD, no 720p like the iPhone or the Evo or even the Droid X, I believe, shoots 720p. So that's kind of a bummer. But it also has some other nice features, such as it's running Android 2.2 Froyo, the Froyo release, which is really nice. It has some nice enhancement, speed, and also just other great things like voice control, voice commands. Now, if you're an iPhone user, you may be saying, well, we have voice commands. No, not like this. Not like this, you don't. So one of the really great things about the Android Froyo release is the voice commands, and I found myself to really love them a lot. I love the fact that you can do voice to text. So if you're driving in the car and you want to send someone a text message, you know the safest thing isn't to, whip out the QWERTY keyboard that it has and start typing away, or even using the on-screen multi-touch keyboard, whether it be with swipe, which is also installed, which is really cool. That allows you to connect letters on the keyboard, and then it writes out the word, and it'll actually learn. If a word is not recognized, it'll learn it if you tell it, and it picks it up for later on. But aside from that point, it has something called voice to text, so you can say something, and then you can send a text message to somebody, and it will take what you said, analyze it, and then spit it out into a text message, which you can then send. It also has the same ability for directions, so you can say directions to, and then say where you want to go, and it'll get you turn-by-turn navigation to the place you want to go. Really cool. I do like that feature a lot. Other things it has, including you can do, call and other sorts of really cool things. Note to self is another cool one. So if you say note to self, pick up the laundry at my house, or note to self, bring milk home, or note to self, don't ditch your iPhone for this. Whatever, doesn't matter. You can say note to self, and then it will email you because it intertwines with your Gmail account. So it's really cool. The Gmail integration is great, by the way. I'll have to do more on that in future videos just to show how really cool it is. But especially with Google Voice and Gmail, and a lot of people use these services all the time, it ties in really nicely. And so you say note to self, and then it will email you. It'll spit out what you said in text, and then you can email it to yourself, and then you can read it later so you remember things like that. It's just so nice. It's real. The Google integration, I think, is what makes these phones so great, and why I think that they have potential to be awesome. But the only thing is, now, I just want to say this. When I do this next part of the review, I'm going to compare the Droid 2 to the iPhone, and now I'm only going to pick out key parts that I think are really necessary where the Droid lacks. The Droid, by the way, it comes with 8 gigs of onboard memory, and also comes with an SD slot, which has another 8 gigs, so you have a total of 16 gigs of storage. But one of the nice things about the iPhone, which I have right here, is the fact how it integrates so nicely with iTunes on the PC, on the desktop side of things. That so much is not the case with Android at all. The problem with that is they don't have a desktop, so to speak, solution piece of software that you can seamlessly integrate with your phone. Let's say sync music, videos, apps, so on and so forth. So it's more of a hassle to do it with the Android. So it's more like this. When you plug in the Droid 2 or any Android device, it's more like a flash drive than a really cheap MP3 player, where you have to manually drag and drop files onto the device, and then from there you can do whatever you want with them. Now I did this with a with some of my music. I put some music on here, and it automatically, I just dragged on the MP3 files. It automatically picked up that it had album art and things like that, knew the files, which is nice. So I give it props for that, and I was able to show them when I play them in the player. And I'll go more into the Android details again later in another video. Another thing that I noticed with the Droid 2 in comparison with the iPhone, the Droid 2 has a slightly larger screen, although it's a little narrower. It's 3.7 inch on the diagonal, and as opposed to the iPhone, which is 3.5. So it's just barely bigger. But one of the key differences in terms of the screen, as I pull this up here, is the iPhone display just crushes, literally crushes the Android's the Droid 2 display here. Now you can see, I don't know if you guys can actually tell this, but here's the iPhone display. It's hard to tell over the video. And here's the Droid 2 display. One of them being the iPhone is just far superior. If you're looking for, like, I mean, it just blows it out of the water in terms of the crispness, the clarity, the overall display quality. Much better. Also, in terms of build quality, I'm going to give it to the iPhone on this one. The iPhone, look, it's stainless steel and glass. It's a piece of art. Whereas the Droid 2, and there's nothing. I'm not going to hold this against the Droid also, because most of the Android devices are plasticky like this, so I can't really hold that against it. It wouldn't be fair to compare it in that sense. But if you're looking for, it feels like plastic, and that's what it's made out of, so that makes sense. But aside from that, it's a good device. Now, the only other issue I have with the Droid 2, and I'm not sure, because I'm just learning Android right now. I'm not sure if this is a common Android issue or if this is a Droid 2 issue. I noticed the multi-touch just isn't as good on the Droid 2 as it is on the iPhone. I'm typing in Google and it's spelling it wrong. Maybe I'm just not used to it. Maybe my fingers are too fat. I don't know. But I don't have the same issues on the iPhone, so I can only assume maybe it's an Android software thing, or maybe it's just the touchscreen just not as good. I don't know. So if you know, let me know so I can then inform everyone else, because that'd be great, so I can learn. In terms of the Android operating system, which I want to get more into later, but I do like a couple of things which I'll make note of right now. Again, voice commands. Again, the Google integration, such as Google Voice and things like that. But I also like how you can have quick contacts right on the home on the main screen. I like live wallpapers. They're fun. They're cool. They don't suck up too much battery. Speaking of battery, by the way, the Droid 2's battery lasts roughly around a day, which is pretty average. So I'm not gonna knock it there. But overall, this phone is pretty good. It's a solid phone. If you're looking for a smartphone on Verizon, this one just came out, the Droid 2 again. Highly recommend you check it out. It's definitely on my list, and of course, there are rumors that Verizon iPhone's coming sometime in January, so we'll see. But again, this is a good phone. If you're looking for a new Android phone, I'd recommend you put this one on your list. If you're looking for something with a better camera, the HTC Incredible, the Droid Incredible, still they're roughly equivalent, but it has a better camera. It also has the 3.5-inch display, if I recall correctly, as opposed to 3.7. But that doesn't really matter, because it's, 0.2 inches? It's not going to make that big a deal. The Droid X, again, is nice. I played with that in the store a little bit. I don't know too much about it. But this is definitely one to put on your list. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any Android requests, apps, anything really, you want to know more about the phone, leave a comment, or I will also link to the write-up that I did, which also has some other links to top 5 lists that I made up. So again, we'll see you next time. And remember, take care of your computers. And Android devices, they're not too bad after all, right? We'll see you next time.